In a galaxy ruled by a powerful empire, one species, humanity, emerges from obscurity to challenge everything the empire thought it knew about technology and warfare. With a fleet of seemingly primitive vessels, humanity defies the laws of physics and outmaneuvers the empire's most advanced forces, leaving the galaxy's most powerful civilization reeling. What was once unimaginable is now a terrifying reality. The humans' unique blend of old and new technologies has shattered the Empire's belief in technological supremacy, forcing a reckoning that could change the course of galactic history forever. The Galactic Empire's high command was thrown into a state of disbelief when they observed the USS Enterprise CV-80, a human supercarrier unlike anything they had encountered in their 10,000 years of galactic dominance. The ship's sheer size was unparalleled, dwarfing even the Empire's most advanced battlecruisers. Yet it wasn't just its size that left the high command stunned. It was the vessel's agility. Despite its massive bulk, the Enterprise moved with a fluidity and precision that seemed to defy the established laws of physics. To the Empire, this was an affront to their understanding of spacefaring engineering. How could a species that had only achieved faster-than-light, FTL, travel a mere 2 decades ago, create something so advanced and extraordinary? The circumstances of the encounter further amplified the shock. The Enterprise had appeared without warning, seemingly out of nowhere, during a routine Imperial patrol in the Orion Arm. Its sudden emergence from a solar system previously dismissed as primitive challenged the Empire's assumptions about humanity. This was a region of space long deemed insignificant, home to a species the Empire had regarded as technologically and culturally inferior. Yet here was a vessel that not only represented human ingenuity, but also suggested that humanity had surpassed expectations in ways no one could have predicted. Adding to the Empire's bewilderment was the ship's physical state. Its hull bore scars, clear evidence of battles fought and won. Yet it showed no signs of damage from energy-based weapons, the standard in modern galactic warfare. This observation alone defied comprehension, as energy weapons were universally considered the pinnacle of destructive power in space combat. How had the Enterprise survived such encounters? What technologies or tactics had enabled it to withstand these assaults? These questions plagued the High Command as they rewatched the footage, each viewing only deepening their sense of unease. This initial encounter with the Enterprise was more than just a meeting between a galactic superpower and an emerging civilization. It was a moment of reckoning for the Empire. The sight of the human vessel, its scars, its impossible agility, and its unyielding presence was a declaration that humanity was no longer a species to be underestimated. The Empire, for the first time in millennia, found itself faced with a potential rival whose methods and motivations were shrouded in mystery. This stunning first encounter set the stage for the Empire's realization that the galaxy was far more complex and unpredictable than they had ever imagined. The USS Enterprise CV-80 represented a paradox that left the Empire's high command reeling. A seamless blend of what appeared to be primitive and cutting-edge technologies. Chief Science Officer Kara, whose crystalline form shimmered with excitement, highlighted the baffling technological duality of the human vessel. Humanity had retained the use of nuclear fission, a technology the Empire had abandoned millennia ago as inefficient and outdated. Yet somehow, humans had refined and re-engineered this primitive energy source to produce power outputs that surpassed even the most advanced systems in the Empire's arsenal. This was no simple repurposing. It was a transformation of the old into something groundbreaking. The Empire had always prided itself on its linear technological progression, where outdated systems were discarded in favor of more sophisticated advancements. To see humanity, a species considered backward, not only embrace but perfect such a primitive technology shook the foundation of the Empire's assumptions. How could a species so young in its galactic journey extract such extraordinary efficiency from something so basic? The implications were profound. Humanity had developed a path of innovation that diverged entirely from the Empire's, one that valued adaptability and optimization over outright replacement. Adding to the mystery was the Enterprise's propulsion system. The humans employed chemical propulsion, an ancient method that had long been deemed obsolete by the Empire. However, rather than being a limitation, this propulsion was integrated alongside advanced technologies that the Empire couldn't even begin to comprehend. This combination allowed the Enterprise to maneuver with agility and precision that defied its massive size and confounded the Empire's understanding of propulsion physics. This synergy between the old and the new created a vessel that was more than the sum of its parts, leaving Imperial scientists scrambling to understand how humanity had achieved such harmony. The Enterprise's technological fusion symbolized humanity's unique approach to problem-solving. Where the Empire viewed progress as a straight line, humanity saw it as a web of possibilities, where every discarded thread could be rewoven into something new. This ability to innovate within constraints, to transform limitations into strengths, was not just a technical achievement, but a reflection of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. It forced the Empire to confront an uncomfortable truth: that their rigid belief in the superiority of their methods might have blinded them to alternative pathways of advancement. Ultimately, the USS Enterprise was not just a marvel of engineering. It was a testament to the power of creativity and adaptability. It demonstrated that even the most primitive technologies, when reimagined and perfected, could achieve results that rivaled or exceeded those of the most advanced civilizations. For the Empire, this realization was as humbling as it was unsettling, marking the beginning of a profound shift in their understanding of technological progress. One of the most startling aspects of the USS Enterprise CV-80 was its use of a revolutionary design concept: the carrier. In the Empire's experience, warships were typically independent, self-sufficient units designed for direct combat. However, humanity had developed a radically different approach to space warfare by creating a vessel that could launch and coordinate a variety of smaller craft, which were referred to as fighters or drones. These smaller vessels, deployed in perfect formation from the Enterprise's deck, utilized atmospheric flight principles to maneuver in the vacuum of space, an approach considered utterly unorthodox and primitive by the Empire's standards. The use of what seemed like outdated atmospheric principles in the harsh environment of space was a puzzle that left the Empire's finest engineers scratching their heads. In the vacuum of space, conventional flight principles such as aerodynamics should have been useless, yet the human crafts defied expectations. They were able to outmaneuver Imperial pilots, who had long relied on advanced, cutting-edge propulsion and weapon systems to dominate space combat. The human smaller vessels appeared to possess extraordinary agility, making them highly effective despite their simple design. This defied the Empire's understanding of both space travel and combat tactics. What made this carrier concept even more striking was the fact that the Enterprise and its accompanying craft appeared to function without the need for the Empire's advanced targeting systems, neural interfaces, or collective control networks. Instead, these human fighters relied on a form of individual coordination and training that was rudimentary by Imperial standards but shockingly effective in battle. The Empire's own most sophisticated piloting systems and targeting protocols were rendered useless in the face of human electronic warfare, a capability that the humans had developed and applied with chilling precision. These electronic warfare systems disrupted the Empire's advanced technologies, rendering their targeting systems blind and their sensor arrays useless. The human ships, though seemingly inferior in terms of technology, managed to turn this perceived weakness into an advantage by exploiting the Empire's reliance on technological superiority. The Enterprise's ability to deploy a large fleet of smaller craft, each one a miniature warship in its own right, exemplified humanity's creative and adaptive approach to warfare. Unlike the Empire's rigid reliance on massive, centralized warships, the humans had embraced the concept of swarm tactics, employing numerous smaller, agile craft that could overwhelm superior enemy forces. The efficiency and effectiveness of these tactics left the Empire's admirals and military officers scrambling to understand how such a concept, derived from ancient terrestrial naval warfare, could function so well in the vacuum of space. What was particularly alarming to the Empire was the realization that humanity was not simply advancing in terms of technology, they were advancing in terms of tactics and strategy as well. The Enterprise and its carrier design presented a radically different approach to space warfare. One that incorporated not just new technologies, but also a completely different understanding of how war could be waged in the vast expanse of space. The combination of primitive and advanced technologies, alongside a strategic mindset that was foreign to the Empire, made the humans a far more dangerous adversary than initially assumed. In summary, the USS Enterprise's carrier design was not just an engineering marvel, but a strategic revelation. The human use of smaller craft, coordinated through traditional training and tactics, turned conventional military wisdom on its head. The Empire's own reliance on massive, independent warships suddenly seemed obsolete in the face of humanity's more flexible and versatile approach. The carrier concept demonstrated that the human way of warfare, though seemingly simple, could yield results far beyond what the Empire had ever imagined. The USS Enterprise CV-80 not only demonstrated an impressive physical design and advanced propulsion, but also showcased a strategic capability that posed a serious threat to the Empire: electronic warfare. This form of warfare, which humanity had developed and mastered, was a game-changer, one that the Empire had not anticipated or encountered in such an effective form. The concept of electronic warfare itself was not new to the Empire, but humans had taken it to a whole new level, using it in ways that outmatched even the most sophisticated Imperial technology. The Enterprise was equipped with advanced electronic warfare systems that were able to render the Empire's highly sophisticated targeting systems ineffective. The Empire had spent millennia developing intricate and powerful weapons and sensor technologies that could lock onto targets with precision and guide their weapons with deadly accuracy. However, when facing the humans, these systems were rendered useless. The Enterprise, with its small fighters and agile movements, deployed electronic countermeasures that jammed or interfered with the Empire's advanced technology, making the once superior weapons systems virtually blind. This unexpected weakness in the Empire's defenses left them vulnerable, a situation they had never faced before on such a large scale. What made the human electronic warfare capability so threatening was its sophistication and unpredictability. Unlike the Empire's reliance on centralized, network systems, which were vulnerable to direct attacks or disruptions, the humans seemed to operate through a decentralized and flexible approach. The human ships didn't rely on a single control system, but instead used individual craft that could independently engage in complex maneuvers while simultaneously executing coordinated electronic attacks. This decentralized nature meant that even if part of the human fleet was disrupted, the others could continue operating without missing a beat, exploiting the Empire's vulnerabilities in real time. Furthermore, the Empire had believed that their superior sensor networks and targeting systems would be the deciding factors in any conflict. They had relied heavily on these systems to outmaneuver and defeat their enemies, but the humans had turned this assumption on its head. The Enterprise's electronic warfare capabilities were so effective that even their own advanced sensors were being misled, causing confusion and disarray among Imperial forces. Human fighters, which appeared primitive in comparison, were able to dance circles around the Empire's most elite pilots. This forced the Empire to reevaluate their strategy and forced the realization that superior technology alone was no longer enough to guarantee victory. The human approach to electronic warfare also demonstrated a different philosophy towards technological integration. Whereas the Empire had developed specialized singular technologies for each aspect of warfare, humans had merged multiple technologies, old and new, into a cohesive strategy. The electronic warfare systems weren't just an add-on to the human vessels. They were seamlessly integrated with the rest of their combat capabilities, from propulsion to communication systems. This holistic approach to warfare, combining ancient techniques with cutting-edge technology, allowed humanity to overcome the Empire's greatest strengths and flip the balance of power in unexpected ways. In the end, the human ability to disrupt and disable Imperial systems through electronic warfare was one of the most disturbing aspects of their technology. It wasn't just a technical challenge. It was a profound strategic shift that the Empire had not anticipated. The humans had mastered an entirely new facet of warfare that made them formidable in ways that the Empire had never prepared for. The Empire had relied on brute force and technological superiority for millennia, but humanity's prowess in electronic warfare showed that true power in the galaxy might no longer be determined by the size of one's arsenal or the strength of one's ships, but by the ability to outsmart and disable the enemy systems. This realization marked a pivotal moment in the Empire's understanding of the threat humanity posed. What made humanity's technological advancement particularly disturbing to the Galactic Empire was their ability to adapt and perfect outdated technologies that the Empire had long abandoned. While most advanced civilizations discarded older methods in favor of the latest breakthroughs, humanity had developed a unique approach. They not only retained their older technologies, but also refined and adapted them to meet their current needs. This is especially evident in their use of nuclear propulsion and atmospheric flight principles. Technologies that, in the Empire's eyes, were primitive and inefficient, yet humanity had managed to turn them into highly effective tools for their spacefaring ambitions. The Empire had long since abandoned nuclear propulsion, deeming it an inefficient and archaic method for powering space vessels. Instead, the Empire had developed far more advanced propulsion systems, using refined energy sources like dark matter and exotic materials to power their ships. For the Empire, nuclear propulsion was a relic of a past era, obsolete and unworthy of further development. However, when the USS Enterprise CV-80 appeared, it became clear that humanity had not only retained nuclear propulsion, but had also managed to modify it to achieve performance outputs that far exceeded what the Empire had considered possible. The human adaptation of nuclear propulsion allowed their ships to generate immense power while still operating efficiently, challenging the Empire's assumptions about what old technologies could accomplish in modern warfare. This reimagination of what had been considered inefficient technology demonstrated humanity's remarkable ability to repurpose and improve upon what was once discarded as inadequate. Similarly, humanity's use of atmospheric flight principles in space warfare was another example of their unconventional ingenuity. The Empire's warships relied on advanced gravitational and inertial systems that allowed them to navigate space with unparalleled precision. These systems were powered by the most sophisticated technology available, yet the humans had found a way to adapt old, terrestrial principles of flight, principles that rely on the manipulation of air and atmosphere, and apply them to the vacuum of space. This adaptation defied all conventional wisdom about how space combat should be conducted, as atmospheric principles should have had no place in space. Yet the human craft demonstrated incredible agility and effectiveness, outmaneuvering even the Empire's most advanced pilots. By reintroducing old methods, such as those used in ancient naval warfare on Earth, humanity had found a way to excel in space combat without relying solely on cutting-edge technologies. This ability to combine older, seemingly outdated technologies with new, groundbreaking innovations was what made humanity's approach to warfare so unpredictable and dangerous. While the Empire had always focused on the singular pursuit of advanced, specialized technologies, humanity's strength lay in their ability to hybridize and perfect multiple technologies simultaneously. They didn't simply discard the past in favor of the future. They integrated it into their development, constantly refining and repurposing it. This holistic approach allowed them to achieve a level of efficiency and adaptability that left the Empire struggling to understand how these primitive methods could be so effective when applied with such creativity. Humanity's mastery of both the old and the new forced the Empire to confront a profound shift in their thinking. Their technological arrogance, the belief that their constant pursuit of advanced technologies was the only path to power, was being challenged by a species that had found value in the past, rather than discarding it. The human fleet, with its hybrid systems and unusual combinations of old and new technologies, demonstrated that there were multiple paths to spacefaring dominance, and that the Empire's rigid adherence to pure technological advancement was no longer sufficient to guarantee superiority. In the end, humanity's ability to adapt and innovate with discarded technologies showcased their unique approach to solving problems. While the Empire's technological evolution had been linear, humanity had embraced a more circular, integrative approach, drawing from the past and combining it with the future in ways that the Empire had never considered. This adaptability and resilience were key to their rapid advancement, and as they presented themselves as a new galactic power, it became evident that humanity had found a way to conquer the stars on their own terms, by making the most of every technological resource available, no matter how old or new. One of the most extraordinary aspects of humanity's approach to space combat, as seen in the performance of the USS Enterprise CV-80 and its smaller support craft, was their reliance on individual coordination and training. In contrast to the Empire's reliance on neural networks, hive minds, and AI-driven coordination, humanity had developed a form of highly effective, purely human-driven teamwork that was not dependent on any advanced collective systems. This distinction not only set humanity apart, but also proved to be a significant advantage in combat situations, making their forces more adaptable and unpredictable than the Empire's forces, which were deeply dependent on technology for coordination. While most spacefaring civilizations, including the Empire, had evolved advanced systems to link their warships, pilots, and even soldiers together through direct neural interfaces or collective intelligence, humans eschewed this reliance on technology in favor of traditional military training and the development of individual skills. Instead of relying on AI or a hive mind to guide their combat decisions, human pilots and crew members relied on their own instincts, training, and coordination. This ability to operate independently, while still working effectively as part of a larger unit, gave humanity a level of flexibility that the Empire's more technologically dependent forces lacked. The most significant advantage of this human method was its resilience in the face of technological disruption. While the Empire's ships and pilots were all heavily reliant on advanced technology for communication, strategy, and tactical decision-making, the humans' reliance on individual skill and training meant that they could continue operating effectively even when some of their systems were compromised. In combat, when the Empire's high-tech sensors or targeting systems were jammed by human electronic warfare or when their neural networks were disrupted, the human forces could still function. The pilots, operating independently, were not reliant on constant communication with central systems and could still carry out their missions. This decentralized approach meant that a breakdown in one part of the human fleet did not necessarily cripple the entire operation. Humanity's ability to develop such a level of independent and coordinated action was a product of both their historical context and their inherent adaptability. For millennia, humans had been developing strategies for coordination, both in battle and in other forms of collective action, without the aid of sophisticated technology. These strategies, honed over centuries of terrestrial warfare, were then adapted to the challenges of space combat. The human training and organizational structures prioritized individual decision-making and autonomy, even in high-pressure environments. This emphasis on the human element in warfare, especially the ability to think and act without being reliant on external systems, proved to be a major factor in the success of their space forces. Additionally, this human focus on individual coordination and training allowed for a greater sense of initiative and creative problem-solving in combat. When faced with an unexpected tactical situation, human commanders and pilots had the ability to think on their feet, to improvise, and to adjust their strategies without needing to wait for commands from a central system or AI. This made the humans an incredibly difficult enemy to predict and counter. Where the Empire's forces might be bogged down by technological failures or system glitches, the humans could adapt and continue operating with little disruption, outmaneuvering their adversaries. In essence, the human capacity for individual coordination and training demonstrated the profound difference between human warfare and the Empire's high-tech, system-dependent approach. Where the Empire believed that greater reliance on technology was the key to military superiority, humanity showed that the human mind, coupled with rigorous training and strong individual initiative, could achieve remarkable efficiency and effectiveness even when confronted with far superior technology. This human trait of maintaining flexibility and adaptability in combat, while operating with basic systems and high-level training, was a key factor in their unexpected success and posed a serious challenge to the Empire's long-standing belief in the infallibility of advanced technological coordination. As the Galactic Empire's High Command continued to analyze humanity's impressive technological capabilities, One of the most unsettling revelations came from the discovery that the USS Enterprise CV-80 was not the only advanced human vessel of its kind. In fact, it was merely one of many. The designation of the Enterprise as a third Ford-class carrier implied that there were multiple, potentially different classes of human ships, each likely possessing unique capabilities that could further expand their combat prowess. This discovery sent a wave of anxiety through the Imperial Command, as the prospect of encountering multiple classes of similarly advanced or even more advanced vessels raised serious concerns about the Empire's ability to maintain its dominance over the galaxy. The revelation that humanity had already developed several classes of advanced warships, including the USS Gerald R. Ford CVN-78, the first of its class, meant that the human fleet was not only growing rapidly, but also evolving in different directions, creating variations in their technology and combat strategies. This was a direct challenge to the Empire's notion of a technological hierarchy, where power and sophistication were believed to be achieved through a singular, linear progression of technology. The Empire had developed a few very advanced classes of ships over the centuries, each representing the pinnacle of their technological achievements. But the humans had already surpassed that model, rapidly developing new and distinct types of vessels that could potentially overwhelm the Empire's fleet with sheer diversity and innovation. This diversity in human ship design posed a unique problem for the Empire. In any galactic conflict, it was far easier to counter a known quantity, especially if the opponent's technology followed a predictable pattern. However, the fact that humanity had already deployed multiple types of advanced ships with varied designs and capabilities indicated that the human fleet would not be easily categorized or countered. Each new class of human ship could be a new threat with unforeseen capabilities, requiring the Empire to constantly adapt to new challenges. This was a level of unpredictability that the Empire's command structure was not accustomed to dealing with. The USS Gerald R. Ford CVN-78 was particularly concerning to the Empire for its use of modified nuclear propulsion, a technology that the Empire had abandoned centuries ago as inefficient and obsolete. Yet humans had not only revived it, but had managed to adapt it in such a way that it achieved power outputs that were previously thought to be impossible. The fact that humanity had been able to take what the Empire considered primitive propulsion and make it viable in modern space warfare was both impressive and deeply worrying. This demonstrated that humanity's approach to technology was not bound by the same rules and constraints that governed the Empire's scientific methods. The potential for even more diverse and unexpected developments in future human ship classes was something that could destabilize the balance of power in the galaxy. The Empire had relied on its technological superiority for millennia, but the emergence of multiple classes of human ships forced the Empire's leadership to reconsider their assumptions. The idea that humanity could continue to innovate at such an accelerated pace, with the potential to develop even more ship classes, each potentially stronger or more adaptable than the last, was a serious threat to the Empire's continued dominance. The notion of a single, unified fleet became irrelevant in the face of such diversity. The humans had not only achieved remarkable advancements in technology, but had also mastered the ability to rapidly evolve and diversify their fleets, making it much more difficult to predict their next moves or plan for the future. Ultimately, the discovery of multiple classes of human warships revealed the vast potential for humanity's future growth and military innovation. This ongoing development meant that the Empire's current methods of technological dominance were no longer guaranteed to maintain their position at the top of the galactic hierarchy. Each new ship class added another layer of uncertainty for the Empire, highlighting humanity's unique capacity for rapid and unpredictable progress. This growing diversity in human ship design meant that the Empire would need to fundamentally rethink its strategies and approach to warfare if it hoped to keep pace with the humans' ever-expanding capabilities. One of the most fascinating and disconcerting aspects of humanity's technological advancement, as observed by the Galactic Empire, was their unique approach to combining old, primitive technologies with cutting-edge innovations. While most advanced civilizations in the galaxy pursued a linear path of development, constantly refining and advancing their most modern technologies, humans had taken an entirely different approach. Rather than discarding older technologies in favor of newer, more sophisticated ones, they had merged these seemingly outdated systems with new discoveries, creating hybrid technologies that were greater than the sum of their parts. This allowed humanity to maintain capabilities from older technologies while simultaneously pushing the boundaries of what was possible with their more modern innovations. The Empire, for instance, had long abandoned nuclear propulsion, considering it an inefficient method for space travel that lacked the power and reliability of more advanced forms of energy generation. However, humans had revived and radically improved this technology, combining it with advanced systems that the Empire could barely comprehend. This fusion of old and new was not limited to propulsion systems alone. Humans also integrated basic chemical propulsion methods with highly sophisticated energy weapons, electronic warfare systems, and advanced targeting systems. The resulting hybrid technologies were unpredictable and not easily countered, catching the Empire off guard at every turn. The combination of these technologies allowed humanity to exploit the benefits of both the tried-and-true methods of the past and the new, cutting-edge technologies they had developed. In essence, humanity was not simply advancing in a single direction. They were creating a rich tapestry of innovations, blending past and future into a cohesive, formidable whole. What made this approach particularly alarming to the Empire was that it defied all expectations of technological evolution. Most spacefaring species had followed a predictable trajectory, discarding outdated methods in favor of more efficient, powerful technologies. However, humanity's success lay in their refusal to abandon older techniques, instead choosing to adapt and improve them in ways that none of the more advanced species had considered. This made humanity's ships, weapons, and systems highly unpredictable, since there was no uniform logic to their development. In many ways, humanity's ability to combine the old and the new turned their ships and technologies into hybrid forms that were both resilient and powerful. Moreover, the human approach to technological innovation seemed to break conventional scientific paradigms. It was as if humanity's unorthodox method of combining disparate technologies allowed them to unlock new potential by bridging gaps that other species had overlooked. This was particularly evident in the way they merged their older propulsion technologies with advanced AI and quantum systems. Whereas the Empire would have focused on perfecting a single, cutting-edge solution, the humans' multifaceted approach allowed them to develop more versatile and effective tools for combat, exploration, and defense. The humans' ability to rethink the rules of technological development was a major factor in their success, and it posed a significant challenge to the Empire, which had long prided itself on its methodical and highly advanced scientific practices. Furthermore, the practical implications of this hybrid technology were clear in the battle effectiveness of human ships. The USS Enterprise and USS Gerald R. Ford were just the beginning. The Empire had expected the humans to be weak, technologically inferior, and easy to overwhelm. But instead, the humans' hybrid technologies allowed them to field vessels that outperformed many of the Empire's most advanced warships in combat. Their ability to integrate older propulsion technologies, which were thought to be inefficient, with advanced electronic warfare systems and targeting systems meant that the humans could outmaneuver and outgun opponents in ways that the Empire could not anticipate. This hybridization of old and new technologies represented a profound shift in how technological progress could be achieved. Rather than following a traditional, linear path of improvement, humanity's technological evolution was a more complex, multifaceted process, blending the tried and tested with the novel and the experimental. The Empire, which had long seen itself as the pinnacle of technological advancement, now found itself faced with a species that had broken the rules and found its own, highly effective path to the stars. This realization forced the Empire to reconsider its entire approach to technological development and to acknowledge that there were multiple ways to achieve greatness in the vast and complex universe. Humanity's hybrid approach had opened a door to new possibilities, and the Empire was left wondering just how far this new way of thinking could take the humans. Another deeply unsettling revelation for the Galactic Empire was humanity's approach to warfare and coordination. particularly the way they operated their ships and military forces without relying on neural networks, hive minds, or artificial intelligence supervision. This was in stark contrast to how most advanced civilizations, including the Empire, conducted their military operations. In the Empire, many species, especially those with highly advanced technological systems, relied on AI or collective neural networks to synchronize their fleets and coordinate their attacks. These systems allowed for perfect efficiency and near-instantaneous communication between ships, ensuring that every unit was in sync and could act with precision. However, humanity's fleet operations were based on a completely different model. They relied on individual human pilots and crew members, using traditional training and human intuition rather than relying on any form of hive mind or AI coordination. The lack of AI supervision or a centralized coordination system made humanity's approach to warfare seem primitive by the standards of the Empire. However, it was this very approach that gave them an unexpected edge. Despite using what appeared to be outdated methods of coordination, the humans' individual training and decision-making abilities allowed them to achieve levels of combat efficiency that defied the Empire's expectations. The Empire's advanced fleets, which relied on highly sophisticated AI to optimize every aspect of combat, found themselves outmaneuvered and outgunned by human forces that operated with much more primitive coordination systems. This discrepancy was both baffling and alarming to the Empire, as it seemed to suggest that the human reliance on individual skill and coordination was not only viable, but perhaps even superior to the more centralized, automated methods of warfare employed by the Empire. What was particularly surprising was the level of efficiency humans were able to achieve through these primitive means. While the Empire's fleets and forces were accustomed to operating as a highly integrated, networked whole, where every ship and unit operated under the guidance of a central intelligence, humans had managed to achieve a similarly high level of operational cohesion without relying on such systems. Instead of a collective network or AI to provide instant information and decision-making capabilities, the humans relied on the tactical acumen, training, and adaptability of each individual crew member. In essence, humans had created a decentralized model of warfare that allowed them to perform at an exceptionally high level even without the technological advantages that most species in the galaxy relied on. This approach not only made humanity's military forces unpredictable, but also demonstrated a flexibility that the Empire's AI-driven systems lacked. In space combat, human pilots and crew members relied on personal experience, improvisation, and the ability to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances. The Empire's fleets, on the other hand, while highly efficient, lacked the human element of unpredictability and adaptability. This gave humans a tactical advantage that the Empire had not anticipated. While the Empire's AI-driven coordination could process and analyze massive amounts of data in real time, it was unable to think outside the constraints of its programming. By contrast, the humans' human-centered approach allowed them to exploit weaknesses, think creatively, and react to the battlefield in ways that AI could not. Furthermore, the fact that humans were able to achieve such high levels of combat effectiveness without relying on AI also had significant implications for the future of galactic warfare. If humanity could continue to refine their techniques and train their forces to such an extent, they could build a formidable military force that was far less dependent on the fragile and hackable systems that powered the AI and hive mind models of the Empire's forces. The Empire had long relied on technological superiority to maintain control, but humanity's refusal to rely on AI and instead focus on human ingenuity and individual capabilities introduced a new kind of military power, one that was not as easily controlled or suppressed by technological means. This, in turn, made humanity a far more dangerous adversary than the Empire had anticipated. Overall, the way humans approached warfare, emphasizing individual coordination and adaptability rather than centralized control and AI reliance, represented a radical departure from the norm in galactic military strategy. This new form of combat coordination challenged the very foundation of how the Empire viewed warfare and tactics. The Empire's reliance on AI and neural networks to optimize their fleets seemed to make them vulnerable to this new, decentralized, human-driven approach. As the humans continued to prove the effectiveness of their methods, the Empire realized that they had underestimated humanity's potential not just technologically, but also in their ability to wage war in ways that no one in the galaxy had ever anticipated. This gave the humans a unique advantage and positioned them as a powerful and unpredictable force in the galaxy, one that the Empire would have to reckon with. The final and perhaps most profound realization the Galactic Empire faced was the need to reassess its entire approach to technological and strategic development in light of humanity's remarkable achievements. For millennia, the Empire had been the undisputed ruler of the galaxy, having built its vast power on technological superiority, military prowess, and the unchallenged use of advanced systems. The Empire's philosophy centered on the belief that the path to success in space exploration and warfare was purely defined by technological progress. Advanced energy sources, superior weapons, efficient AI systems, and integrated fleet coordination were seen as the key to domination and control. This mindset was deeply ingrained, and any deviation from it was considered heretical or unfeasible. However, humanity's rise and their unexpected successes forced the Empire to question whether this established order was still valid. The humans' unique approach to technological advancement, which combined old, primitive technologies with cutting-edge innovations, shattered the Empire's long-held beliefs about what constituted true progress. Humanity's insistence on perfecting older, discarded technologies, such as nuclear propulsion and chemical-based propulsion methods, alongside quantum computing and new energy weapons, showed that technological development didn't have to be linear or rely solely on the most advanced systems. The humans had demonstrated that there were multiple ways to achieve mastery in space exploration and warfare, and their hybrid approach had proven incredibly effective. This forced the Empire to confront the possibility that their own highly sophisticated technological focus might have limited their understanding of what could be possible. The humans had taken a vastly different approach, one that embraced both the tried and true and the innovative. While most civilizations abandoned what they saw as outdated or inefficient technologies, the humans had revived and re-engineered those methods, combining them with entirely new concepts that the Empire could barely comprehend. This hybridization made their systems unpredictable, effective, and resilient, as it allowed the humans to exploit strengths from older technologies that the Empire had long since discarded. The Empire's focus on the most cutting-edge technology was now exposed as one-dimensional, leaving them vulnerable to an enemy that had developed a more nuanced and flexible approach to progress. The human success was not just in the technologies they had developed, but also in how they had merged them in ways that provided unexpected advantages. This realization caused a shift in perspective within the Empire. The once unquestionable belief in the superiority of purely advanced technological systems gave way to the possibility that there were alternative paths to greatness. The humans had proven that it wasn't just the newest or most powerful technologies that defined success. Rather, it was the ability to adapt, innovate, and think outside the constraints of traditional thinking that had allowed them to overcome the Empire's most formidable defenses. The Empire, for the first time, was forced to acknowledge that its own reliance on a single path, focusing solely on cutting-edge technology, had made it predictable and rigid, while humanity's adaptability and willingness to combine old and new had made them a more versatile and unpredictable force. This shift in thinking also had far-reaching implications for the Empire's future strategy. The Empire could no longer assume that technology alone would secure their dominance in the galaxy. They needed to consider that other species, particularly humanity, might not follow the same trajectory and might have entirely different methods of achieving success. This realization was humbling, as it suggested that the Empire's understanding of technological and military superiority was not as absolute as they had once believed. The Empire was no longer the only player in the galaxy. Humanity had proven that it could innovate, adapt, and potentially surpass the Empire in ways that no one had predicted. Moreover, the hybrid approach that humans employed raised questions about the sustainability and resilience of advanced civilizations that relied solely on cutting-edge technology. If the Empire's technology could be countered or even outmatched by a species using a combination of old and new methods, then it might be time for the Empire to reconsider its strategic approach. Perhaps the Empire needed to rethink how it developed and deployed technology, focusing not just on the latest innovations, but also on refining and integrating a wider variety of methods. This shift in thinking could fundamentally alter how the Empire viewed other species and how it approached galactic governance in the future. In conclusion, humanity's arrival on the galactic stage forced the Galactic Empire to confront uncomfortable truths about its own practices. The Empire, long accustomed to ruling through technological dominance, now realized that there was more than one way to reach the stars. This understanding not only challenged the Empire's view of progress, but also altered its perception of other civilizations, particularly humanity. The humans had not only proven their worth on the galactic stage, but had also demonstrated a new way of thinking that could forever change the Empire's approach to technology, warfare, and strategy. The Empire would never look at technological development the same way again, and the realization that there were other paths to mastery would shape the future of galactic politics for generations to come.